Hello, everyone, and welcome to Coffee with Casey. We talk about pricing strategies, and we're looking ahead to 2025. And let me tell you about some strategies that are going to blow up in people's face if we're not careful. So, a little preventive warning here, because when people are putting their home on the market, there's a lot of money at stake. There's a lot of risk, a lot of work, a lot of energy, more importantly, a lot of money. So I want to bring some to your attention that I saw this week that is clearly spelling a disaster for many sellers. And I also so we're going to talk about pricing and how people are pricing homes. And then um, I'm also going to do this. I'm going to put out a memo, if you will, or some document that says this is exactly how you price, right? These are the criteria you use. These are the adjustments that you make. This is what establishes customary value. This is how you adjust customary value up or down based on upgrades, condition, you know, of a home. So I'll put that out this week. All right. But today let's get into this. And I will apologize. Got a little thing going here because I've got fishing trip going down to Bimini, catch some fish. Next week's Coffee with Casey will be done on a boat, I hope. Um, and I got to give it that old fishing captain look, so I start growing right now. But next week you can see how beautiful Bimini is. So let's get started today. Let's talk about pricing. This is what came up to us this week. A little shocked. I was a little shocked. Um, that Here's the thing. When an agent goes to price a house, there is a system on the MLS Bright, which we all use to gather our data. And on that, they have what's called a CMA, a competitive market analysis, and it's automated. So a person can put in a tax record number for your home and then pull up some comps and say, compare this house to these comps. And to be honest with you, this week I had priced a home at 165 to 169, and another agent came in at a price of 2.15 million. And I was a little shocked, to be honest with you. I mean, nobody's off. Nobody's off $500,000. What are you talking about? So I said, send me your documents that show me what you did. This is the CMA from Bright Analytics. Okay. So there's about 10 houses. There's 5 or 6 pages of this. I won't bore you, that look just like this. I don't even know how to interpret this. I do know how to interpret this. Okay. So these are the comps they were using from 2 different towns, by the way. And the home, I know because I'm pricing it, is 4,360 square feet. Now, if you look at all of the properties here and your square footage that you're comparing them to, you can't go more than 500 square feet above my subject or 500 square feet below, right? So this is well over 1,000. 1,000 below, 1,000 below, 2,000 higher, 2,000 higher. So the bottom line is these comps are not qualifiers. They are just not qualifiers, okay? But let's look at the averages down here. So the average is 4,160 square feet. Okay, we're 4,350. So we're 200 square feet higher. So we should be a little higher than the average value, which is 1.61 million. So this says average 1.613 million is the average sales price, right? I have no problem with that. Here's the recommendation. Yada, 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 yada. I say the house worth 2.15. How the hell do you get from 1.613 to 2.15 million? This is what I run into every day. And what happens is they take these and show them to the seller, and the seller says, our computer says your home is worth $2.15 million. It is clearly 100% worth 1.65 to 1.69. No doubt about it. No ifs, ands, and buts. That's what Zillow says it's worth. That's what all these other, we're all in the same ballpark, except for this. And this is the official MLS site. It is crazy, right? So with that, a lot of people believe this CMA. And what this is this is $100 million worth of homes in Aldi and Ashburn that were listed over $1 million that withdrew last year unsold. There's $100 million worth. That's crazy. Why is that? Because people are using competitive market analysis on a computer that's analyzing the wrong data, coming to the wrong conclusions, using the wrong algorithms. It's just absolutely absurd. So if you see a 26-page report, you have a problem. You don't, it's not like you might have a problem. You have a problem. You need to have the agent. Don't tell me the what, tell me the how. How did you arrive at 2.165? Give me your analyzation. Let me give you mine. This is our pricing model. And our pricing model says of the homes that qualify, you'll see these are all between 3,800 and 4,600, right? So my average comp is 4,326. The home is 4,340, right? Look at the assessments, look at the sales price, list price and sales price. So based on my analysis, the price per square foot should be about $391, not off. The assessment should be at about $117, not but a point off. And that brings you to $1.695 million as a customary value. Now, I'm not telling you what it is. I'm telling you how I got there. All of these properties sell at a percentage of their assessment, and they sell at a price per square foot. When you average them here and here, you can apply them to your house here and here. Now, it's a little higher or a little lower. And let me talk about adjustments. See how their homes are basically 2011, that's when they were age. This is, our age is 214. So ours should be a little higher, right? Their square footage is here, ours is here. So, I mean, we're a fleck higher than the market, fleck, which means that instead of 165, we're 1695, because just a touch bigger, touch newer, maybe a bigger lot size. So what happens is I adjust on the fly the price per square foot up or down based on age and size. I adjust the assessment, not to what maybe the county says it's worth, because sometimes they're wrong, to an average assessment of a home that's 4,340 square feet built in 2014. See, I adjust all of that on the fly, and I arrive at 1695. Is that what your house is worth? No. That's the customary value of that home, and that's not debatable. That is in absolute 100% concrete. Now, let's say you put 300,000 into the backyard. Got it. This is adjustments. Now we're moving up and down the scale based on condition and upgrades. Let's say I spent $300,000 in the backyard. Okay. All of our statistics show, hundreds of sales a year show that you're probably going to get about half of that back. But we can't ask for it, because if you ask for it, you don't get it. So what it tells me, the buyer pool is at $1.7 million. Any tick you go over 1.7, you start losing that buyer pool, and fewer people come walking into your house. So it's not unusual that I would say, let's test 1.75 in a case like this. Let's see if the buyer pool is there. In other words, is anybody coming? Is there anybody on showing time looking at it? Anybody that's scheduled a showing to see your home? Is there anybody trying to write a contract prior to us launching this house? So during coming soon, all this activity is happening. If it's not happening, if we hear crickets, if Morgan or Colby or Johnny or Ferris or anybody says to me, crickets, partner, we're going back to 1699. That's where we're going to be because that's where the buyer pool is. That's where the buyer pool is. What the final price is going to be dictated on condition and upgrades or lack thereof. If it's a dated house, we're going down, and we're gonna price accordingly, right? So we need to be careful. This is how you analyze what a property should go on the market. So that property goes on at 2.15 million. You can throw it on the $100 million that withdrew in 2024. Do you see the problem here? Now, here's the real problem. Last year, there's no inventory. We didn't have any inventory. So you had to work really hard to withdraw your house. Really hard for it not to sell. You got to be pretty bad. Not so much this year. This year, consumer confidence is coming back. More listings are coming on the market. Interest rates have already started coming down. They will come down more. So there's going to be a lot more inventory, a lot more competition. Now, when that happens, things start to stack up. The inventory starts to stack up. And that's when the problem happens. So if you think 100 million was withdrawn in 2024, that could be 200 or 250 million in 2025. So going to be a little scary. So let me take you a little bit more in depth into the pricing when we talk about how and why and what. So this is a look at the inflation line since 2020. So if these houses were worth 1.14 million in 2020 and they started to grow at the rate of inflation, today it's worth $1.4 million. But they're selling for 1695. No inventory, no inventory. Oh, got a little flush of inventory. No inventory, got some inventory. So this is a chart that is consistent with Arlington, McLean, Vienna, Centerville, all of the other areas. So I'm looking at this chart going, that makes sense. We're not over, we're not too far under. I think we're right where we should be, commensurate with the rest of the market. So this gives me confidence that I'm on the number. Now, this is the most important screen that we're going to look at in 2025. This is the market snapshot. Now, a market snapshot takes into account what is pending, what is active, what is withdrawn. And what that tells me is currently, right this second, is there a lot of inventory? Is everybody paying the same price as they did 3 or 4 months ago? Because these are what are people paying today? Well, in this market, there are no pendings, so I can't really tell. There's one active, but I calculate every listing as to what is its customary value and then what did they list it for. So as you can see, the one active they have, my computer says that house is worth 1.481. They've listed for 1.6. So they're 113,000 over market value. Doesn't mean I'm not watching it. It just means they're not competitive because they overpriced the house so far that most buyers aren't even looking in that buyer pool. Okay. Now, I analyzed the withdrawals. There were 5 withdrawals during this period. The customary value was 1.8. They were on the market for 1.875. So let's say there was $60,000, $70,000 overpriced each one. That just shows that if you overprice it, they're not coming. They're not going to buy the house. So we have to be very careful. This is telling me that there is no competition on the market. We don't really have a good register as to what people are paying today. So we have to be a little careful. That's why, do we go on at 1.75? Do we go on at 1.7? I'm pretty much thinking 1.7 is where we need to be. Now, I think the house is going to sell for 1.8, 1.825. Can we get to 1.825 from 1.7? Oh, yeah, all day long. I mean, our average is 85,000 over list price. So can we get there? Yes. But what some people will say, mistakenly so, is you're pricing it too low. Not so. We test the buyer pool. If there's no buyer pool there, we go to the next buyer pool. That's where all the buyers are, and they bid it up. So it's not as if we're abandoning higher prices. We're just finding that there's no buyers there. So, so the proper way to do this, if somebody walks into your door and they have a 26-page report, yada, 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 I think your house is worth $1.82 million. Really? How did you arrive at that number? Well, here's how I arrived at that number. Then listen, not the what, the how. So I just told you how we've done it, how I've cross-checked it on the chart, how I'm looking at the current inventory to making sure we don't have any surprises. So I'm pretty locked in. I need to be a little bit more conservative on this. I probably recommend starting at 1.7, but if you want to start at 1.75, I can support that. But if nobody's coming, we need to get to 1.7. So we'll test that in the coming soon period. So that's basically the problem that people are going to be having, is they're looking at these crazy, I mean, it's nuts. I mean, it's absolutely nuts. So I as a professional, this concerns me. Because people, this person on Lego Stella, right? They put this house on the market. They really needed to sell that house and they couldn't sell it. Well, the only reason why people are selling house, most of them, divorce, downsizing, death, disaster, lost my job, gotta sell my house. You know, these are people that have to sell, not people that are just saying, if we don't get it, we get it, we don't, we don't. So I see a lot of time, energy, and money that are lost for people that really can't afford this. So please, if you see, and let me tell you another thing you got to look out for. If your neighbor is going to sell their house, you need to have them call us or call a professional in their area. Because if they put their house on the market and it fails to sell, the market value of that house goes down and the market value of your house goes down as well. So it is critical that your neighbors list with a really top agent, top group, because their destiny is your destiny. And we need to make sure when you're looking out for yourself, you need to look out for your neighbors. Now, as far as that's concerned, if you have family, friends, businesses, people you care about, you care whether they make money or lose money, have them give us a call, or a professional in their area, a professional listing team that really knows what they're doing. Because as I just shown you, there's $100 million of people in Aldi and Ashburn that went down the tubes and went down the drain. So let's make sure we get those people taken care of. Okay, that's the first thing I wanted to talk about, was the pricing. I think we've got that locked down. Let's talk about selling your home off market. Now, let me tell you why agents want to do this. Okay, agents want to sell off market because they could make the buying commission and the selling commission. They could keep it all, either to themselves or in their office, in-house, in their office. But here's the problem with that. In Vienna, over $1.75 million in sales. We had 108 sales last year. Now, here you see the listing agents. And this goes way down here. It goes on and on. But for the purpose of this, I can't scroll down. So, and you can see, I mean, we certainly have a lion's share of this. There is no other realtor with more than 3 listings that they've sold. So we're about 15% of the market when it comes to listing. But here's the sales. So a person comes to me and says, I want to sell it off market. I'm going to get bids from 2 or 3 agents. Well, of the 108 sales that we had this year, we had 106 different selling agents, which means the person with the highest and best offer, no real agent had brought in more than 2. And I think only 1 or 2 have done that. So it's a crapshoot over who's got the best buyer for your house. It doesn't make any sense to sell it off market. I know you want to. We all want to. We all want things, right? I want to catch big fish. We go down to Bimini. I want to catch billfish. I don't want to reel that sucker in all the way, but I certainly want to catch it. So I know what we want, but that doesn't help, right? Because of all these agents, no one agent has sold more than, I mean, there's 106 different selling agents. The MLS is the only one that can flush that out. Professional agents are the only ones that can price it correctly and get these homes to move. So, plus, let me tell you another problem with selling off market. The other problem is the agents don't know how to operate in that. So, and I don't want to call them, I'll tell you what I'll call them. I'll call them me first agents. There are some agents that are seller first or buyer first. There's some agents that are me first. So you could have a me first agent. In other words, I'm trying to make as much money as I can. I really don't give a shit what happens. Those are off market agents. They're trying to think either I can get more money, or my company can get more money, which is a bunch of bullshit. I think you can say that on YouTube. Yeah. It is terrible. So I'm a seller first agent. My agents that work with me are buyer first agents, or if they're working with me on a listing, they're the seller first agent. You're either a seller, buyer, can't do both. Not at the same time. I mean, yes, my agents do have buyers, but even the people off market call me all the time and say, hey, I've got a property off market. Now look at this. I'm telling you, we have 15%, 16 sales. We have 15% of the market share, 15 or 16 out of 108. We are dominant. And Billy and Kelly and Morgan and Colby have buyers. They come into these things all the time. We can't even guarantee you I'm going to have the best seller for your house or the best buyer for your house. In fact, one time we listed a house, Kelly did. Morgan had the buyer. I said, Morgan, we'll see you Monday at 12 o'clock. After everybody's seen the house and has a chance to bid on it, we'll see you at 12 o'clock on Monday. That's not even family first. That's not me first. That's not even family first. That's seller first. Because I wanted to get in the highest offer available. Thank goodness Morgan's people bid higher than everybody else, and they won the contract. So it kept peace in the house. But I wouldn't even sell a house off market to my own agents, because how do I know that's going to be the highest and best offer they're going to get? I don't. So I am 100% against off-market sales. I think it's in the worst interest of the seller to do that. I think it's in the best interest of the seller. Get it on the market. Do not accept a contract prior to Monday. It's $200,000 over list price. If it's $200,000 in an earnest money deposit, if they'll lose the earnest money deposit, if they walk away for any reason, I'm taking that contract. But don't bank on that. Don't bank on that. We need to get the highest and best offers in. Everybody needs a chance to look at it. Everyone needs a chance to compete for that. And that is how you get the highest and best offers on your properties. That's the way we do it. So beware of these analytical BS websites, especially our own MLS. I went to a seminar, one of the top agents, in Vienna back in the day. She says, oh, I get that call. I grab the CMA, I run out the door, and I go close that listing. What? You know how much time we spend trying to decide what is this thing worth? What is it not worth? Where do we put it? Where do we test it? Where do we go to? Where's the buyer pool? Is this in line with the 5-year average of all the other houses in the market? Somebody walks in with a thing called a CMA, throw them out of your HOUSE. Roll them out. Got the wrong agent. My name is Casey Samson. You've been listening to Coffee with Casey. We're going to be broadcasting at 2 o'clock on YouTube, Facebook Live from now on. If you're looking for me, I'm at 703-508-2535. Or you can email me at casey@caseysamson.com. But give me a call. A lot of times we just need to talk this through and see where we're headed. All right. We'll see you guys again next week. Next week, again, I'm going to be broadcasting, I hope, from a boat or at least poolside or at least oceanside in Bimini, Bahamas. We'll see you guys again next week. Bye now.